One more trinomial for us to look at here in our series of videos on factoring trinomials. In our first series, we looked at factoring common factors out of each term, and that's always what we do first. We look to see if there are any common factors. 6, 17, and 12 only share the common numeric factor of 1. Doesn't do us any good to divide out a 1. There is not a common variable to every term. There is a variable in every term, but not one that's common. These two terms have x, these two terms have y, but there is not a variable that's the same that shows up in every term. So I have no common factor I can divide out of these three terms. So then I go to the fact that this is a polynomial, and if polynomials are factorable, they're going to factor into the product of two binomials. Put in my signs by first looking at the second sign of the trinomial. That's a plus. How do I get a plus? Two pluses or two minuses. How do I know which it is? By looking at this sign. Since that's a minus, it has to be two minuses. It has to be two subtractions in my binomials. Now, let's list the factor pairs of the first term. So that first term is 6x squared. I would get that by multiplying 1x times 6x or 2x times 3x. Now I list the factor pairs of the third term. Well, notice the third term has a variable in it, 12y squared. So I have to account for the variable in these factor pairs. The way to get 12y squared, one way to do that would be 1y times 12y, right? That would give me 12y squared. 2y times 6y, that would give me 12y times y is y squared. And 3y times 4y. So one of these pairs from each of these groups has to go into my binomials. So let's start and take the 2x, 3x pair to go into the first positions. Let's take the 3y, 4y pair to go into the second positions. And now I test that combination that I've chosen by the O and the I of FOIL to see if it's going to give me minus 17. 2x times minus 4y. 2 times 4 is 8, so that's minus 8xy. Minus 3y times 3x. Minus 3 times 3 is going to be minus 9. Yx, remember we always write the letters in alphabetical order within the term, so I would write the x first. And indeed, those two like terms would combine to the minus 17xy that we want, and there's our factorization of that trinomial.